Okay, right. Thank you. Jaisudha, can you go ahead with the program? Unmute yourself, Jaisudha.
அனைவருக்கும் இனிய காலை வணக்கம். Pleasant morning to one and all. தாய்மை போற்றும் இவ்வுலகில் தாய்மையை காக்கும்
Jaisudha, we are not able to hear.
அனைவருக்கும் இனிய மகப்பேறு செல்லிய தினத்தில்.
Jaisudha.
Yes, ma'am.
We are not able to hear you in between. If it is any problem, can you just put up the video and audio alone could help us out?
A warm welcome on behalf of Tamil Nadu Nurses and Midwives Council for the virtual celebration of International Midwives Day. Happy Midwives Day to all. May 5th is an honorary day to celebrate the International Midwives Day to commemorate the contribution to the Society of our Midwives. On this day, it's been given to the midwives who manages the community midwives also for home births and the clinics. The International is honored to appreciate all the efforts and achievements of midwives in maternal health care. This year, the theme for International Day of Midwife is Together Again, from Evidence to Reality. Through this theme, we also want to acknowledge the evidence supporting our profession and the need to turn this evidence into improved respect, autonomy, and working conditions for midwives and improved health outcomes for women and families. Yes. நோய் நாடி நோய் முதல் நாடி அது தணிக்கும் வாய் நாடி வாய்ப்பச்சொல் உலகோர் போற்றும் உயர்ந்த பண்பு கலகலப்பான கனிந்த பேச்சு பல நூல் ஆராய்ந்து பரந்த அறிவு நகைமுகம் ஒளிவிலை நரைமுடி தூய்மை அனைத்தும் ஒருங்கே அமைந்தவர் சேவையை தன் உயிராக கருதி தரணியை செம்மையாக்கி கொண்டிருக்கும் இவர் அன்னையின் மறு உருவம் ஆணுக்கு நிகரென நிமிர்ந்து நிற்பார் அவர் நம் வீட்டு ஜான்சி ராணி. It is indeed a great honor for all of us to have in our midst Professor Dr. S. Annie Grace Kalaimadi, the Registrar Tamil Nadu Nurses and Midwives Council, Chennai. She is highly distinguished scholar, a transformational leader, and the nurse stalwart and administrator. Started her professional career as staff nurse and climbed up to the level of the principal and now holding the post of registrar. She has numerous publications to her credits and she is the recipient of Best Nursing Leadership Award, Best Non-Medical Award from IMA Tamil Nadu branch and the Best Teacher Award from the Tamil Nadu Dr. MGR Medical University. She holds various posts in many statutory bodies of nursing as Registrar of Tamil Nadu Nurses Midwives Council. Her achievements are enormous. To name few, brought the renewal of license, online CNE modules developed at free of cost, started 6 nursing specialty journals by council, created the live registry for nurses, initiated the research grant, developed the ASCII books and ASCII station banks, MLHP logbook, new syllabus orientation, and as a TNA president, the SOLVE program for the young nursing student leaders. Ma'am, we are really very fortunate to have with us today. May I request you to address our gathering today for the International Midwives Day.
Thank you so much for that lovely intro in the morning, though it is very long. Thank you so much. Indeed, it is my great pleasure to, first of all, to greet each and every one of the nurse midwives and midwives of this country. A very, very happy International Midwives Day. And especially, I would really welcome on behalf of Tamil Nadu Nurses and Midwives Council, welcomes Dr. Evita Fernandez for being here and gracing this occasion. And she's going to share us her real empowerment she has given to our nurse midwives in this country. And also, I would like to thank all my program coordinators, Jaisudha, Dr. Jaisudha, Dr. Nalini, Dr. Sushila, and all my fraternity over here who is participating here. I know the seats are limited, only 500. It's in the YouTube relay. I know always I get a warm, great cooperation from my fraternity in my state. And I don't know, is there any other state people are witnessing? To them also a warm welcome on behalf of Nurses and Midwives Council. And you also know, it is the premier nursing council which was established in 1926. You should imagine it's a pre-independent and it is the first council in the Southeast Asia which is named as Madras Nurses and Midwives Council. So they never forgotten the word midwives. So that means there were midwives in this country. People eventually forgotten the midwives' role in this country. I still remember because, as many of you know, my mother has retired as a community health nurse. She worked as a lady health visitor and promoted as a community health nurse. I have witnessed my mom conducting delivery in the primary health center and at the homes. So that is the story, and I have seen many midwives conducting delivery when I happen to take my students to the corporation. Even today at the corporations, the A&Ms are conducting deliveries. I don't know where did it go those days training. And I want to tell you, till 1950s in this country, there was a 18 months course midwifery was available. That was started a year back in 1864. That was the first midwifery school started in India during the British period. And that legacy was carried on. That is how the first midwife registered in this country in Tamil Nadu Nurses and Midwives Council as a registered midwife, also the name Shantamal in 1930 with 18 months of training. We have a registry for everything. And almost now we are marching towards century. Now we are 96 years old council. We have all evidences with us. And I think during my scope of practice presentation, I will share with you much more details about it. But I thought you all should know what is the legacy of this council, because even in 1947, when National Council established, it was named only as a Nursing Council. It was named as a Indian Nursing and Midwifery Council. You should note that. So that means, see how people had the real vision for this profession. There should be independent midwifery, because those days, I hope you know the Scudder story, Dr. Scudder story in Tamil Nadu, how she became a missionary, over doctor missionary in this part of the southern part of the country in Vellore, CMC Vellore. And she saw 3 deaths in front of her eyes, right? One Muslim, one Brahmin, and one some other low cost. They don't want our father to conduct a delivery. They want women to conduct the delivery. That is why she came into the profession and she started doing training those times. Okay, so that is how it is. So basically, initially in this country, the midwifery practices only the given very great importance in this country to reduce the maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate. Now, still again the same. If you ask me in the country level, if you take, we have come down below 100, the maternal mortality rate, but some states are doing exceptionally very great. But still, northern part of India, we are really finding it difficult. Like Tamil Nadu, if you take it up, if you ask me midwifery practice, and a lot of physicians will be really objecting. I'm really surprised Dr. Evita madam was really supporting us in this concept. I'm really surprised to see this, because here till a tug prevails with the physician, and whether to give this full rights of conducting normal delivery to a midwife, because they all say, for an example, they say in a meeting, here we have only 1 or 2 children. It's precious. How can we give it to a nurse? Where did the faith we have lost? And every nurse in this country, once you pass the diploma in nursing and degree in nursing, you get 2 licenses. One is registered midwife and a registered nurse. And after 1950, till 1950, it was a 9 months course. After independence, the midwifery course was shrunk from 18 months to 9 months. Okay. Then in 1950, the GNM course been implemented by Indian Nursing Council, where it became a 3 years, 9 months course. And then later it reduced to 6 months midwifery. That is because you can understand it is a developing country. We need more people into the society. But if you see all these A&Ms, I was asking my mother morning, what were they called earlier? She was telling me they were called as the red jackets, the 6 months completed people, and the people who joined that time, they were appointed as a maternity assistant. And only when multi-purpose health worker scheme came in, all been merged, and it has been confused like 6 months course. Even A&M undergoes 6 months exclusive midwifery. Then where did we fail to give them a RM license? We were giving auxiliary nurse midwife license. So I think there are a lot of things. Maybe we never had a proper leaders in nursing. We never understood the depth of these policies. That is all. I think now it's a time, high time, when Government of India brings up such programs and doctors like Dr. Evita brings up and support the midwives in such a way. But still, I have my own doubt, because still when we compare to the western part of our country, they really encourage the community midwives so much, and also the hospital delivery midwives are practicing independently. So what are we going to do in that? Because midwifery, I strongly feel it is not a care, it is a relationship basically between the pregnant woman and the midwife, and it's a relationship care, and it is a collaborative care, and it is empowering with cost effectiveness. That is what the great thing about this midwifery. I always say, yeah, every patient may need a doctor, but a pregnant woman does not need a doctor. She needs a good midwife for her. So that should be in our mind. So with that, with that keeping in mind, I look forward the upcoming sessions to look upon, and eagerly waiting for Dr. Evita's madam's address what is how it has come. Still, in my mind, I don't know whether I'm correct or not, because I don't know, ma'am, how long she's going to be here. I thought I will pour it out my views here. We have in Tamil Nadu, if you take, I have 1.5 lakh live registry nurses, and among that, I have 780 nurses who completed MSc with OBG specialty, maternity specialty. If you see the ICM syllabus, ICM competencies, and there is just a small, whatever they put it up, the independent practice, interdependent practice, almost we are doing everything. There are still small things lacking, like a limited prescription, okay, regarding the vacuum and forced delivery preparation and such things, we never do it basically. So those things, if we could give a small bridging course for this MSc 780 people, I can just like that get a manpower for midwifery educator. I don't know why people have thought 6 months and 18 months, and it could have been really shortened to some 6 months to my OBG graduates, and it have never boomed to this country. I think it is, I am giving the statistics of my state, and I don't know about the other state. Maybe it will be definitely more, I don't know. But why not? It is because developing country like us, we should use the available resources. That is what I always feel strongly. So when we have a manpower in hand, where these MSCs are not utilized by our system at all in the healthcare system, they never get a job avenues. When these people get some opportunity like this, the people who are in policy making should portray this to bring this category to the limelight, to the vision of the government and the bureaucrats, so that we can definitely solve the nurse midwifery educator shortage. Because now, yesterday I was watching the program with the WRA, they were conducting a program with INC and JAPIGO. They were telling they need 780 nurse educators immediately within 3 or 4 years. Where will you find? Every time 6 people when you send, totally 15 MMTI, 5 NMTI and 16 SMTI established. When are we going to, instead of spending on them the cost, we can utilize this already trained crowd with so much of a knowledge. Maybe if you need even some more clinical thing could be given. And I put forth that one to Dr. Evita, since you talk in many forums. I want you to think about a little bit about it. And also the RM license, what we are using now. What about these people, the people who complete the midwifery practitioner? Again, it has been given as an additional qualification license. I want the national policy making body and Government of India to think about a separate license called midwifery practitioner license for the people who complete this course of a special category. That give real independency, a limelight, and also a confidence level for midwife. Because every time nurse is we are not allowed to practice it, but any other profession, if you take now, even the physician assistant who have come here, they get more money. If the people who midwives, we have skills, but we never did it. But if you see the olden days, The midwives were running their own practice. Where have been left? So I think this is with this question, do we need a separate license for this nurse midwifery practitioner? Do we have to utilize the already trained personnel so that we can make the country in a gain with the cost effectiveness? With that thought, I will once again congratulate the whole team for helping me to roll out this program along with the small study we did it. A research study. I think that's going to give a great outcome during Jaisudha's presentation. And once again, thank you all for joining with us.
Thank you so much, ma'am, as you should, with the energetic and enlightening talk to us regarding this midwives, the scope of practice on this one. Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Evita Fernandez is a renowned obstetrician and chairperson of Fernandez Foundation, Hyderabad. She is a fellow of Royal College of Obstetrician and Gynecologist, London. She strongly believes in the need to empower the woman to make choices, especially with regard to issues surrounding birth. Dr. Evita is a champion of natural birthing and midwifery in India. She has spearheaded the country's first professional midwifery education and training program. Her professional midwifery services, that is Promise campaign, is committed to create a national cadre of professional midwives who are vital to care the low-risk pregnant woman. In a career spanning 3 decades, Dr. Evita has been at the forefront of maternal and child health care in India. May I request now Dr. Evita ma'am, Chairperson Fernandez Foundation, to deliver the Chief Guest address. Ma'am, please. Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, and thank you very much to the Tamil Nadu Nurses and Midwives Council for organizing this event today, and my congratulations to all the midwives, nurse midwives in Tamil Nadu, especially to the 6 midwifery educators whom we were privileged to train from Tamil Nadu and whom we found one of the really exciting groups that we were privileged to train. Dr. Annie Grace, you've raised a lot of issues and I would love to answer them one-on-one. What I'll do, I'll try and very quickly go through what I would love to share. Thank you for giving me the privilege of sharing my thoughts on a subject that's so close to my heart. As an obstetrician, I am absolutely convinced that we need professional midwives in India, and we need to change the working relationship. We have to work with mutual respect and trust as colleagues, equal footing, not obstetricians and midwives below, as equal colleagues. Team spirit with respect and trust. Can I have the... So why do we need midwives and who is a professional midwife? If I can take you through that, then in the next 10 minutes, because the theme is from evidence to reality. So what is the evidence? Lancet in 2014 has brought in a series of articles which changed everything around the world. They said midwifery is a vital solution. I draw your attention to the blue lines. High quality maternal and newborn care, and for all countries. It's not for poor countries, not for middle income countries, but for all countries. And Cochrane database says all pregnant women should be actually exposed to midwives. Our vision in Fernandez is when a woman is pregnant, she should first see a professional midwife, and only if required, then she sees an obstetrician. That is the faith I have in professional midwifery. We also know that there's better maternal and neonatal outcomes, and there's less need for C-sections and interventions. The word midwife is an Anglo-Saxon word, which means with woman. So the midwife is actually supporting the woman all the time, and she's with the woman right through her antenatal care, labor, birth, and is responsible for her for 6 weeks after she births. So she has to be responsible, take this profession very seriously. She's accountable healthcare professional, accountable for 2 lives, the mother and the baby. So she has to be highly knowledgeable, competent, and highly skilled. If you look at the International Confederation of Midwives curriculum, they list 8 clinical competencies. So they say, if you are proficient in those 8 clinical competencies, then you are qualified to be a midwife. A midwife, the heart of midwifery rests on a simple fact that a midwife believes that pregnancy and childbirth are normal physiological events. Unlike we obstetricians, we are trained to look at childbirth as a potential catastrophe waiting to happen. We want to intervene. We want to do all kinds of things. The midwife believes that a woman can give birth and she can do it normally. So when she develops this relationship of trust, which Dr. Annie Grace referred to, during her antenatal care, she empowers that woman with knowledge and confidence and gives her all the support and prepares her for childbirth. How do you handle labor? How do you handle pain? What should you expect? So she supports women with birth choices, but all of this rests on a foundation of respectful care. So the midwife is a strong advocate for the woman. She makes sure there's privacy, there's a curtain. She makes sure that the woman is listened to. She makes sure that there's kindness, compassion, no shouting, no pinching, no slapping, but supporting that woman. So with this background and conviction, we started a pilot group in 2011 with 7 nurses. And I ran a 2-year in-house professional midwifery program. And I was very, very lucky that midwives from the UK heard about this crazy obstetrician who was doing this and volunteered to come and teach. And thanks to them, I have understood more and more midwifery. Now, this is Teresa, who belonged to the first group of midwives. And you can see that she's running an antenatal clinic with confidence. We have about 8 or 9 midwives qualified among the 52 that we have trained who run antenatal clinics independently. And when the woman is not fitting into the criteria, that is healthy, low risk, uncomplicated pregnancy, and these women form the major part of the pregnant population. So there's risk categorization and very, very strict criteria. So these are the women who are being cared for by our midwives. As you can see, they also teach them different types of exercises, support them in labor. This woman on the left, on the top, is our consultant who had a beautiful natural birth. It was a second birth completely with a midwife. No obstetrician was involved with her. And now you also see that with this kind of knowledge and you support women, they bring in birth companions. So birth companions also get involved in supporting the women. Sometimes she may not have a birth companion, so the midwife becomes her support. So after 6 decades of Fernandez Hospital, we are a 75-year-old hospital. In the 63rd year, I introduced midwives. So for 6 decades, women were used to having doctors. Now I had to break through that myth. And today, 10 years later, I can tell you with gratitude and quiet pride, our midwives have taken care of 18,000 women, low risk, healthy women, and birthed them. We don't use the word delivery anymore because Domino's pizzas deliver pizzas. Women birth babies. So in 2019, we set up a dedicated midwifery-led unit. And I'm sharing this data because we are talking about evidence and what happens in reality. So this is a separate entrance. There are 10 birthing rooms, individual birthing rooms. 5 are led completely by midwives who are qualified, and 5 on the other side by obstetricians. There is a door in between. And these mothers are risk categorized, so healthy, uncomplicated women. I'm just sharing data on about 1,100 odd women who went through these 5 birthing rooms, did not need an obstetrician. You can see the primies and multis. Once they develop a complication, most times fetal bradycardia, or there may be thick meconium, or the woman wants an epidural, then the risk changes. The woman is transferred to the obstetric side. She's no longer a low-risk woman, very, very strict criteria. But I draw your attention to the outcomes. Out of 1,100 women that went through the midwifery-led birth, Look at the incidence of cesarean section, 4%. So when women nurses are trained to global standards and they change their profession once they become midwives, you are no longer a nurse taking orders. You are a professional, accountable, in charge. You are working with women, helping women make decisions. And that's a whole different professional outlook. And look at the outcome. You are reducing the need for cesarean sections. And I draw your attention to the episiotomy. Look, out of 844 mothers who had vaginal births, the incidence of episiotomy is only 3%. That is the beauty of midwifery care. This is how you handle women. And not a single mother was on the flat of her back. You know, all of us are trained, or I was trained to take care of women and birth them on the flat of their back with their knees in stirrups. We stopped using all this once I understood midwifery. So as an obstetrician, I'm passionate about supporting midwives because majority of our women, healthy, low risk, do not need an obstetrician. They need midwives. And these are the positions women birthed with us. This is the team. You can't make out who is a midwife, who is an obstetrician, who is a doula. That is the beauty of working together in equal partnership. In 2017, the Telangana government said, we want midwives in our public hospitals. Can Fernandes help us? So UNICEF, Fernandes Foundation, and Telangana government worked together. We had 30 nurses. They were all seasoned nurses between 5 and 20 years of experience. And we went through 18 months of training with them. And there's an absolute transformation once you understand the heart of midwifery. These nurses, and I'll play a short video, they will tell you about the changes that happened in their thinking, in the way they began to practice midwifery. Respectful care came into the hospitals, and then the midwife said, we will take childbirth classes. So while mothers were waiting in antenatal clinics, they brought them into small groups, taught them how to handle pain during labor, because you don't have epidurals, you don't have sometimes narcotic analgesics. So we taught them non-pharmacological pain relief of labor. Then the Ashas got interested. They said, we also want to hear, we also want to listen. They learned the exercises, and then they began to teach women. And in the hospital where these nurses were training, they were known as the pant and shirt ladies because they had these colorful tops and black trousers. And word got around in Karimnagar, and the Ashas were the best public relation agents because they saw women having normal births when they were with midwives. And this is one of my favorite pictures. This is a young primi gravida who wanted her husband with her. And in the district hospitals of Telangana, women have birth companions of choice. So I'm not talking about private, I'm talking about public hospitals. And I'm a great supporter of midwifery in our public hospitals. And these midwives did not allow a woman to birth on the flat of her back. Look at the positions, 1,400 women under the care of these midwives in the district of Telangana, Sangareddy district. That was the position of birth. Now let's move a little different. We were then asked and recognized as a midwifery training institute for trainers. So now the bar has come up. We are talking about MSc nurses of OBGY or other disciplines interested in becoming trainers. You cannot become a trainer unless you know midwifery, unless you have the midwifery skills. So all these seasoned MSc nurses, it was such a privilege and an honor for us. We've had 2 batches from across 10 states. And then the impact of these trainers when they go back to their states is phenomenal. Now, let's look at Telangana, because this is where we've been working. 15,000 mothers across 22 districts have had midwifery support and care. And what is the result? You see birth companions, you see gym balls, you see the Rebozo, non-pharmacological pain relief, You can see that in one of the district hospitals here in Hyderabad city, where we are actually teaching them. And see what the women are saying. One woman says, I recommend all mothers to go to government hospitals because the care is as good as private. And yes, why not? And there's another woman who says, I was giving birth to a 4 kg baby. The doctors asked me to have a C-section, but the midwife said, no, let's help you. And the third example is of a district collector in Bhadrachalam. He said, I was so happy with the midwives. I didn't take my wife to a private hospital. The midwives looked after her so well. What more evidence do I have to give you, nurses? Midwifery is the way forward. It's an amazing profession. Now let's play this video and you will see. Can you? What happened? Sorry, just give me a second. Yeah, final talk. Yeah, go to the video. Go down. Go down. Yeah, down. Go down, 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 down. Yeah. Go on down. It's the second last. Yeah, there you can see that now. 32. Yeah. Yeah.
Government of India have taken initiative to start the midwifery program in India, and for that they have chosen 30 of the nursing professionals.
What's happening there?
No. Audio.
Government of India have taken initiative to start the midwifery program in India, and for that they have chosen 30 of the nursing professionals from 5 different states, 6 from each.
We learnt positions, what are the positions we can use in birth and we can use in relieving her pain, that is the non-pharmacological method and birthing position.
शुरुआत से प्री कंसेप्शनल टाइम से लेके मदर के बर्थ होने के बाद तक किस तरह से स्टेप बाय स्टेप हम उसे केयर देते हैं, काउंसिल करते हैं, उसकी बर्थिंग जर्नी में उसको कैसे केयर करते हैं, काउंसिल करते हैं, ये सब मैंने यहीं पर आके सीखा.
యాక్చువల్లీ నాకు చాలా సర్ప్రైజ్గా అనిపించింది ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు ఈ మిడ్వైఫరీ ప్రోగ్రామ్కి వచ్చిన తర్వాత ఎంటైర్ థాట్ ప్రాసెస్ అనేది చేంజ్ అయిపోయిందండి. అసలు ఒక పాజిటివ్ బర్త్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ అన్న వర్డే నాకు సర్ప్రైజ్గా అనిపించింది. నిజంగా ఇలాంటిది ఒకటి జరుగుతుందా, జరగగలదా, మదర్స్కి అలాంటి ఒక ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ మనము క్రియేట్ చేయగలమా అనేది నాకు చాలా అనిపించింది. బట్ ఈ ప్రోగ్రాంలోకి వచ్చి ఇన్ని మంత్స్ ఆఫ్ ట్రైనింగ్ అండర్గో అయిన తర్వాత మై ఆన్సర్ ఈజ్ డెఫినెట్లీ ఎస్.
प्रथम तो जिनस शिखिली कि एठारे समस्ते रेस्पेक्टफुल मैटर्निटी केयर को प्रैक्टिस करुछंती. एठारे समस्ते इफेक्टिव कम्युनिकेशन स्किल ताहला नुआ जिनस आम पई कंपैशनेट केयर आल्सो इट इज ए न्यू थिंग जहा कि आम्ही एठू शिखिलू.
मी क्लिनिकल एरियामध्ये जेव्हा स्टुडंटच्या सुपरविजनला जाईल त्यावेळेला मॅटर्निटी युनिट्समध्ये ज्या प्रॅक्टिसेस मला चुकीच्या वाटतील त्याचा एव्हिडन्स काय आहे हे माझ्या नर्सिंग संवर्गातील कलिग्सना तसंच डॉक्टर्सना सांगून त्यांना कसं आपण चेंज होण्याची गरज आहे हे सांगण्याचा निश्चितच प्रयत्न करेन.
I am thinking it is we have to sensitize the mother regarding her rights during her birthing process.
As I'm sure you have realized, the transformation that has happened in these very senior nurses who had to go through the clinical program, understand midwifery, birth women, and realize that they have to empower women. They have to support women. They have to make women know what their rights are. For example, the basic right of a woman is to have a birth companion. And when we have women birthing in our hospitals without a birth companion, we have violated a basic human right. It's a simple but very important reality. And now, once you become a midwife, your whole thinking changes and you are there to support that women and recognize complications when they happen. So you are such an expert in normality as a midwife. When you find even a slight deviation, you pick it up. Then you stabilize the woman and refer her. or you call in other experts if you're in a multidisciplinary hospital. This is why the evidence shows in countries where you have professional midwives as the backbone of maternity care, there is less maternal deaths, morbidity is decreased, and newborn death is decreased. So midwives play a very vital role. I will end with the last video, which again is evidence. Go ahead. Next slide.
Government of India have
Right.
The state of Telangana has come a long way in improving maternal and infant health in its public health system. Globally, maternal mortality and rising C-section rates have been major causes of concern. Global evidence shows that safe and effective midwifery care can avert 83% of all maternal deaths, stillbirths, and newborn deaths. The government of Telangana looked upon midwifery as a ray of hope to avert unnecessary medical interventions during childbirth and provide evidence-based, respectful maternity care. In 2017, the government of Telangana partnered with UNICEF and Ministry of Health and Family Welfare to create a cadre of professional midwives trained to global standards. Fernandez Foundation had already been working on training midwives at their hospital and came on board as a technical partner. Telangana became India's first state to successfully train a cohort of 30 professional midwives over an 18-month course. After the completion of the training program that included 6 months of internship, the midwives were posted across 10 districts of Telangana. The positive impact of their work has been creating ripples. C-section rates have gone down and normal births have increased. The learnings from this pilot have fed into the National Midwifery Initiative.
I'm happy with this midwifery training program where the midwife gives a one-to-one attention to the birthing mother and also from the latent phase till the process of delivery is completed, and also makes her do some exercises when the labor is being prolonged, facilitating a normal delivery. She also supports her physiologically, psychologically and emotionally.
మాకు ట్రైనింగ్లో ఎలా అంటే లో రిస్క్ మదర్స్కి మేము హ్యాండిల్ చేయాలి. అయితే మాకు లో రిస్క్ మదర్స్ని మేము హ్యాండిల్ చేస్తాము, హై రిస్క్ మదర్స్కి మేము ఐడెంటిఫై చేస్తామన్నమాట. హై రిస్క్ మదర్కి ఐడెంటిఫై చేసి వాళ్ళకి అప్రోప్రియేట్ కేర్, అప్పుడు మేము ఏమి వచ్చో కేర్ ఆ కేర్ ఇచ్చేసేసి మేము వాళ్ళకి కొలాబరేటివ్ కేర్ వాళ్ళకి ఇస్తూ ఉంటాం.
After joining this course, it is all about giving a compassionate and respectful care to the mother, not only during the labor. It is starting from the preconception counseling, education of the mother, education of the couple counseling, education of the family, then intranatal care and postnatal care, postnatal education of the mother, postnatal education of the family and couple. All these are like providing best possible care.
ఇక్కడ 7th month నుంచి ఇక్కడ చేయించుకుంటున్నాం. మిడ్వైఫ్స్ దగ్గర ప్రతి నెల చెకప్ చేయించుకుంటున్నాం. ఆమె మిడ్వైఫ్ చెప్పిన ప్రతి ఎక్సర్సైజ్ని, ఫుడ్ని కరెక్ట్ తీసుకోవడం వల్ల నార్మల్ డెలివరీకి ఎంతో उपयोगपड़ेंगी।
पोस्ट डेट हो गया था मेरा, तो सर्जरी को लेके जा रहे थे, मिडवाइफ आए, मत जाओ सर्जरी को बोल के, बाल एक्सरसाइज, ब्रीथिंग एक्सरसाइज, स्ट्रेचिंग एक्सरसाइज, मेरे को पेन रिलैक्स हुआ, मेरी नॉर्मल डिलीवरी करे, हैप्पी हो गई मैं।
As we can see, mothers and babies are healthier and happier. Midwives are having a positive impact. And Telangana leads the way for the rest of the nation.
Thank you. I hope those videos convinced you, Dr. Annie Grace, of the important role midwives play. And why 18-month training? Because they are responsible for 2 lives. And now the training is very, very focused. They have to meet global standards. Their knowledge base has to be good, and they have to be confident. So that focus training is what makes them do what they do. I agree with you. You need regulation. You need license to practice. You need a separate midwifery council. But let it be as nursing and midwifery council with very, very strict criteria. I'm all for maintaining quality, safety, and only then will midwives earn the respect of both profession obstetricians and the women. All that you saw is amazing work in public hospitals of Telangana. So I'm a strong advocate of midwifery. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for being very strong advocate for the midwifery and for your significant information delivered related to the midwife and faith in our professional midwives who are the backbone of mothers' maternal health care. And with your evidence of 43% midwives are conducting the delivery and 57 only by the doctors. And starting with the midwifery-led unit with completely being managed by the midwives. And with the qualities of giving respect, kindness, compassion, and maintaining the privacy for the woman. Thank you so much. And your video has shown us the reality, how the midwives play an important role in this society. Thank you. And it's an eye-opener for all of us, how the other states are performing. I'm sure being Tamil Nadu, we will take it up. I'm sure under the leadership of Dr. Anigrace Kalaimudi, ma'am, we will do it, ma'am. Within a year, next Midwives Day, I'm sure we will be with the midwives practicing independently. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for spending your time and sharing your...
My pleasure and privilege. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sushila. Thank you.
Dear participants, we are moving on to the scientific sessions. We hope that the sessions will make you to experience thought-provoking presentation and lively exchange of views. We would also strongly encourage the participants to take the advantage of this opportunity, and this will enhance the knowledge. So Dr. S.J. Nalini, the Professor and Principal, Sri Ramachandra Faculty of Nursing, Sri Ramachandra Institute of Higher Education Research, who completed her UG and PG from College of Nursing, Madras Medical College, Chennai, received a PhD in nursing in 2011 for the work among women with the cervical abnormalities. She has 30 years of experience in nursing, presented 170 papers and 55 publications. 3 papers are international collaborative project and cross-sectional understanding of terminal suffering from a hospital in South Asians with the GATE grant funding. And she is the first best researcher paper award at 23rd National Nursing Research Society of India in 2019. She has visited University of Wisconsin, USA as part of faculty exchange program, served as a member of editorial committee for the Journal of Advanced Nursing, Clinical Nursing and Executive Clinics Association, and Tamil Gestational Diabetes and Department of Health Research, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, and Lactation Management for 3 terms. Now, may I call upon Professor Dr. Nalini, Principal, Sri Ramachandra Faculty of Nursing, Chennai, to take over the session. Dr. Nalini, please.
A very, very warm good morning, respected Registrar Madam of Tamil Nadu Nurses and Midwives Council, Dr. Evita Fernandez, Chief Guest for the day, my dear team members, and dear participants. A very, very happy morning to all of you, and happy International Midwives Day to each one. After hearing to Dr. Evita's speech, I really got goosebumps. So it's a long way to go for all of us, and I hope whatever Dr. Jayasudha told will become reality very soon. Thanks for the opportunity given, and I'm now going to take up nurse midwifery, nurse practitioner in midwifery. I'm not able to move my slides.
Maybe just again close it and come back again.
It's moving. We know that midwifery
no,
is
it's not changing. It's not changing here on a presentation mode.
Is that, ma'am? Is that okay? No? Is my slides visible now?
It's visible.
Ma'am, please click the enable editing button. It is in protected.
Okay.
enable anything. That's
Yeah,
the call. Okay.
Is that visible now?
It is.
Yeah, thank you so much, madam. As we know that midwifery is the oldest of professions and every home had a person to deliver her own people in the house. Now, until 17th century, there was no formalized nursing that was traced until the East Indian people came over to India to take care of women and teach them how to deliver. This is what the history says. But today, we have come a long way from where we were in those days to the current scenario where India has now taken charge among 193 countries to commit itself to achieve this sustainable development goals, which was set in 2015. We know that under the National Health Mission, the maternal and child health services has got strengthened to a great extent. And there are so many programs that have come, especially the Janani Suraksha Yojana and the Janani Shishu Suraksha Karyakram, which has reduced the maternal mortality rate from 103, which was there in 2017, to 97 lakhs per live births. Now, this is the current statistics in 2020, but still, we are supposed to go in for a target rate of 70 per 1 lakh live births. That's a set target for MMR in our country. There are lots of other changes that is happening too. We have the first referral units which have become operationalized today. Lots of MCH wings have come. HDUs and ICUs have come up, especially particularly for obstetrics. Dakshata trainings are going on, and there are lots of Lakshya programs that has cropped up in our country to give or to promote the respectful maternity care. With all this there, still, Lancet, as Madam Evita rightly pointed out, the solution which was given by the Lancet series in 2014 definitely points out how good midwifery can be a solution to provide the best quality care for the maternal and the newborn, for the women and the newborn in all the countries. And this has been identified as the vital solution, and we are going to be part of that. So with this, the great aim of education is just not knowledge alone, but to prove in action. So it is required for producing competent midwives in our country. And what better way to prove that you have learned something than to perform a task based on learning? That shows your competence. That's the reason the concept of nurse practitioner in midwifery has been come up in our country. And I hope at this end of this session, you will be able to recognize what is the need for NPMs in our country and what are all the characteristics of NPMs, and also to gain the insight of all the barriers and challenges that can go on. Moving on, who is a midwife? A person who has successfully completed the recognized degree program or the diploma program, which is who's having competencies which has been identified by the International Confederate of Midwives, and they are having the basic midwifery practice and framework which has been set by the global standards of midwifery education. And they also have the qualifications which enables them to be legally licensed in order to practice midwifery and demonstrate competency in the practice of midwifery. This has been stated by the ICM in 2015. Now, who is a nurse practitioner in midwifery? Again, she is again a person who is skilled and competent and produces all the competencies which has been set by the ICM, knowledgeable, and she's capable of providing the compassionate women-centered care, which is more concentrating towards the maternal and newborn health services. Again, she has to uphold and recognize the standards of midwifery practice, enable quality services in midwifery practice, and give evidence-based care, and she becomes the evidence-informed practitioner. And again, most important, she learns continuously through her experience and updation of knowledge. Now, why is that we need midwife, nurse practitioner midwives in our country? This 2018 guidelines, which was given by midwifery services in India, that became the transformative change it has set in for midwifery education. Nurses and midwives are the largest healthcare professionals in any country, and they are the largest anchor. And with this production of new people who are very, very competent, definitely India can become better in the statistics of maternal mortality rate and neonatal and other infant mortality rate. In order to bring quality care, respectful maternity care, it is mandatory that NPM creation came up in this country, which also had in the thought of incorporating the nurse midwifery practitioners into the public health system so that we achieve the sustainable development goal of bringing maternal and child health. Now, this is possible only through this midwife-led care units, which has become the stamp of this nurse practitioner in midwifery programs. Now, where did it all start? It all started with the post-basic nurse midwifery program, which was started by INC with the support from India, Australia Training and Capacity Building Program in West Bengal, way back in the year 2002, which was again shut down and restarted in 2011. The government of Gujarat came up and West Bengal came up with first one-year diploma program on NPM. Since 2009, they were doing it. But then it was in 2019, the 18 months residency program was started in Telangana by Fernandez Hospital. And then it got in with this curriculum, which was given by Indian Nursing Council, which had 12 months of training program, which was more of classroom teaching as well as skill-based training along with clinical practice and an exclusive 6 months of internship. The title that was given was Nurse Practitioner in Midwifery Post-Basic Diploma Program. And anybody who has a diploma or graduate nursing qualification and less than 45 years with 2 years of experience, particularly in maternity hospitals or settings, they become eligible to enter inside this program. And INC had brought in a syllabus in 2021. Again, a scope of practice was also published in 2021. What are the program objectives? Now, the program objectives for this nurse practitioner, nurse midwifery practitioner include facilitating positive childbirth experience so that they contribute and tend to move towards natural childbirth, to work in partnership with women, children, and their families and other healthcare team members, to go in for an ethical, compassionate, and respectful, culturally sensitive care, which gives autonomy for the mothers, and reducing the over-medicalization of care that is happening in the maternity settings, and also to reduce the socioeconomic inequalities. Most important, a nurse midwife also takes care to educate the women about family planning and healthier pregnancy. It also empowers her to become more autonomous in taking decisions as a maternity care practitioner and also become a lifelong learner. Again, she becomes competent to recognize the abnormalities and implement care for that. Most important, research is also there incorporated inside the program, along with the practice of evidence-based knowledge. And again, we have to be very, very careful that we work within the legal and professional boundaries and also engage interprofessionally within this practice. The curriculum conceptual model, which was given by Indian Nursing Council, goes on with the importance of nurse practitioner midwifery, which goes in for a positive childbirth experience that every mother will have under her care. And the seven core values that they have put forth is the respect, compassionate care that is being given, care given to the women, baby, and her family, the equity and rights, collaboration and teamwork, ethical practice, and moral courage. These 7 core values concentrate and gets achieved through the maternity care priorities that has come forth and the integrated concepts of practice, which takes into consideration the ethical practice, the respectful practice, and all other concepts of giving antenatal, postnatal, and the labor room practices and family planning practices. All these are achieved through teaching and learning exposure, which this curriculum aims for to give a quality midwifery education so that we are able to provide a competent cadre of people who are supposed to lead the quality midwifery care in India. And this becomes the midwifery-led care component that is possible through this program of nurse practitioner in midwifery. With this conceptual framework, there are certain competencies that have been set in this program, which starts with the general competencies. And this general competencies is more concentrating towards the communication aspects, the ethical and the legal aspect, the research, leadership activities. All these components are taken care in this general competencies. Again, there are three important specific area of competencies which is more related to midwifery, which includes pre-pregnancy and antenatal care, both of normal mothers and the complicated mothers, and care of mother during labor and birth. Again, the care that is ongoing both for the lady and the newborn in the postnatal period. So these are the different competencies which has been put forth based on the ICM Essential Competencies of Midwifery Practice released in the year 2019. If you see the program structure, it runs across 78 weeks and it includes theory and the practical hours is composite of skills lab and clinical area. And there are three modules that a person has to complete. The first module is on foundations to midwifery. The second module concentrates more on normal pregnancy, birth, and puerperium, whereas the third one is more towards women and childcare, which is concentrating on the complications that occur with both their women and the child. So totally, if you see, there are about 2055 hours that a person has to finish in the first 12 months of time, and followed by an internship, which is exclusively for 6 months, which is about 1035. Now, in this theory and the practicum, there is an advent of traditional and contemporary methodology of teaching that has been carried out. You have lectures, discussions, you also have simulations, reflective practice, so many other things, including the use of technology, like you have a midwifery app, safe delivery app, which is also being incorporated in this curriculum. So all this utmost level of learning will help them to become more competent in their practice. Again, who can start this program? Any person who's affiliated to the government or non-government organization who have a teaching institution imparting nursing programs with either parent hospital or an affiliated hospital which is recognized by the State Nursing Council, they can start this program. And the selection process is based on an entrance examination which is conducted by the institution for 100 marks. 60 marks is going to be for written test and OSCE, and 40 marks is more about testing their aptitude by means of an interview, whether they are really willing to take up this program. The staffing strength that is required for this program is you need to have faculty who are designated with the qualification of obstetrics, gynecology, or pediatrics, or community health nursing with MSc qualification, or you can be an BSc nursing qualification with the nurse practitioner in midwifery educator training should have been completed by the person. You also need a medical preceptor, either in obstetrics, gynecology, pediatrics, or public health, at least with 3 years postgraduate experience. You need guest faculty who should be from the National Health Mission or Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and they can also be from experts from other fields. The student-teacher ratio is going to be 1:10, whereas for the preceptor-student ratio is also going to be 1:10, and you are eligible to take in only maximum of 30 students. And again, wherever the student goes and attends the classes or takes up in the institution, it is mandatory that the person should get temporary or transfer registration because she's going to practice in that particular state. So this has been mandated. For example, if I'm going to go to Telangana to get my, NPM qualification in Dr. Evita Fernandez Hospital, then I need to get the registration of Telangana government during that period of time. Now, apart from the regular teaching facilities that is required, the lecture classrooms, the laboratories, they also need clinical facilities. The clinical facilities includes 100 to 200 bedded parent hospital, in which there is at least minimum 50 maternity beds, or the hospital can have 50 bedded maternity hospital with an established midwifery-led care unit. Also, the labor room should be having specifications that has been given by Lakshya guidelines has to be followed. Minimum 6 labor tables should be there, and neonatal and maternity unit should be there, and a caseload of at least 6,000 deliveries should occur per year. Because at the end of the day, there should be at least 40 independent deliveries these practitioners should be able to do and should be recording in their logbooks. And you also find that affiliation is recorded in the sub-centers, primary health centers, and the community health centers. There is a requirement for OTs, specific OTs for maternity units, ICUs, and the kangaroo mother care units are required, along with the level 2 neonatal beds. In case if they have the level 2, they need to have links with the tertiary hospital and level 3 hospitals also. Coming to the examination regulations, This examination for the NPMs will be conducted by the board, examination board, which has been approved by the council of the respective states. And there are 3 papers that a person has to take up. The paper 1 is going to be on the foundations module 1. Paper 2 will have the combination of module 2 and 3. And both of them are going to have both internal assessment and the external assessment. For a total of 200 marks, theory will be conducted, and each of the papers is going to be for a duration of 3 hours. Practical is going to be 100 marks again, internal and external, totaling to 200. And there will be only 1 practical examination which will be conducted. You become eligible if you have an attendance percentage of 90%. Before degree, you need to get 100% of attendance. In case a person fails, then she can take a supplementary examination after 6 weeks of time. 3 attempts are permitted for a person. Again, if you see the pass percentage which is required, the minimum pass percentage is 70%, both in internal and external put together in theory and practice. And there are going to be 3 examiners who will examine you in the practical exam, which will include NPM educators, 1 internal and 1 external, and 1 medical preceptor. Again, the registration, once you complete, will be taken up by the State Nursing Council. Now, after you complete your program, you can definitely go back to your place and start the midwifery modules in your own institution. Now, there's a big debate that goes on. Should midwifery be practiced from other nursing roles, what we normally do? You see that in many countries, there is a separate BSc nursing, BSc midwifery that is being given as a 3-year degree program. Very recently, you can see that nearest Nepal have started it in 2017, and they have successfully running BSc midwifery programs. Now, there's a big debate that goes on whether in a country like India with a huge population, whether we need to go on for a separate direct degree for midwifery. There are in fact mixed opinions that has come up because of the amount of population that we have. Again, you can understand that obstetric domination is very high in our country. This becomes the key barrier for the strengthening of nurse midwifery practitioner, as Madam Registrar already pointed out. Again, there should be more of legal protection that has to be given like the doctors. There are some barriers which has been identified, and these barriers include, the practice regulations that are missing, and most of the time the legislation that is deficient, insufficient training faculty who are available, poor infrastructure, and there is sufficient training area, the caseload that is required, and a clear pathway is required for this nurse practitioners as such. Again, functionally, we need to have role clarity. There should be collaborative management. A system of mentoring and supervision has to be established, and employment should be available not only in the private sector, but also in the public sector. And a good salary has to be given for them to make it more attractive. Again, a clear line of authority is required. Again, another structural barrier, perceptual barrier, is that people lack trust on the roles that is being delivered by the nursing personnel, and poor image of nursing is already existing, and a fear of job and financial security is always, goes up with the general practitioners, and they think that if nurses are well trained, they are going to lure into their potentials. The program visibility is also less, and the admissions also still poor. What strategies can be done in order to improve this program? Definitely, infrastructure is mandatory. You need to have better skills lab, which are more moderate or high fidelity simulators should be there. And legislation should be there to support this independent role. Regular in-service educations has to be conducted. And we need to have medical, obstetrical, nursing and faculty members who are both staff and preceptors. There is requirement for a collaboration. We can have tie-up with abroad universities so that faculty exchange is possible, like what Fernandez Hospital did do in the initial stages. There's a lot of sensitization that has to be done to the general public and the healthcare professionals. And we need to have empowered associations so that image building and good lobbying do occurs. Now, this is a study which, in fact, brought out the opinion of doctors, nurses, and key informants, which included the public, related to the nurse practitioner and midwifery program in North India. And you can see about 400 participants did participate in this survey, which included 120 doctors and 120 nurses and 160 participants. Now, there was a significant difference in the score which was obtained in the opinion. Nurses had high opinion compared to the doctors. and the key participants also had better opinion. And what was astonishing was the nurses had in fact low opinion score than doctors in the consumer's acceptance. So we have to change our mind. The doctors have better consumer acceptance to this role rather than we are nurses. And everybody felt that nurses have high competency in order to deliver the care that is expected, also in various aspects in delivery and medication also. So I'd like to conclude by saying that nurse practitioners and midwiferys are in fact the need of the hour. Now, Western countries have in fact tried. If Kate Williams can go in for a midwife to deliver her, why not we Indians? We can definitely be assisting so many of them in their care to reduce the MMR in our country. So the impact of NPMs are going to be cost-effective care, better accessibility, holistic care is possible, and they can also cater to the rural sector, which is less specified into care sector today. And what we require is defined scope of practice, specified licensing is required, and we need to have a structure which is going to bring forth better opportunities for those members who are taking this program. Again, as nurses today, we have to be very clear that previously nursing was more of a guiding profession, and today it is becoming more inspiring. Tomorrow it is going to be challenging. So no longer as nurses, we are going to sit back. We cannot take a back seat now. We need to move forward. The time has come for nursing to take into the sector of going in for becoming the heart of patient care, and we have to bring in the revolution of going in for a patient-centered care, which is more quality-driven. I think and hope all of us do get ready for this challenge and move forward. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Nalini, for the significant and information which has been.
Maybe we all give a virtual clap for her. It was a wonderful presentation.
Thank you so much.
Jai Sudha, we all give a virtual
Yes,
clap.
ma'am.
This is the virtual clap. All of you, please open up your thing. I think we should have given for Evita Madam also. Right? It was a wonderful presentation, Nalini. Okay? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Jai Sudha.
Thank you, ma'am, for the significant information which has been given. I'm sure we all, the nursing fraternity, are ready to face the challenges in our nursing profession. Thank you so much. Dr. Sushila, Professor and Principal, Bilrath College of Nursing, Chennai, who specialized in OBG nursing, having 33 years of experience, and who is an NABH assessor, now governing council member of the Tamil Nadu Dr. MGR Medical University, and who's been the Senate member in Tamil Nadu Dr. MGR Medical University, who has organized the national and international conferences, presented 150 papers in the conference, published 25 papers, and she is a registered PhD guide in Tamil Nadu Dr. MGR Medical University. And she's been on her membership for the council, Indian Nursing Council Delhi, and the university. And Madam has received the Academic Proficiency Award by Achievers Academy of India, Nurse Research Expertise Award by India ICMR, and she is a Pearl of Human Award given by Indian Red Cross Society, and Best Research Paper Award by Indian International Council of Nurses. Ma'am, the platform is yours. Could you please?
Yeah, good. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Jesudha, and happy Midwives Day to everyone. So I thank Dr. Rani Grace Kalaimari, who organized this program through council, and it's eye-opener to all the midwives. And we are very glad as a midwife to give a lot of gratitude to Madam, because this is a very special day which was organized by Madam. My topic is on nurse educator, who is going to educate the nurse practitioner. So we call it as NPMNE, that is nurse practitioner, midwife, nurse educator. From morning, it was just focused on how important that specialized skills are needed for the midwife. So this is actually a voice of midwife. I know I make a difference. I do as much as I can to help and make each birth as loving, gentle, peaceful, empowering, connecting, and celebratory as possible. So every midwife think the best I can do. But is it possible by every midwife is a questionable one. To make it possible, you should have a lot of skills and competency, high level of competency you need to perform the independent practice as a midwife. So for which you need to be specialized, specially educated for the same. So the nurse practitioner midwifery program, which was actually told by Madam Nalini, she elaborated all the curriculum and everything. But to equip that nurse practice midwife, the government of India initiated a nurse midwife practitioner midwifery nurse educator program was on November 6, 2019 by the government of India. Why this program is needed? All of us know midwife only who's educated, trained, licensed and regulated can provide a more effective, that is cost effective and very effective bringing down the cesarean birth will be bringing down and natural births will be elicited. So this is with this concept, this nurse practitioner midwifery nurse educator was initiated by the government of India. You know that Telangana state is already implementing and few of the states also implementing, even Gujarat, that I will be showing you. So this is, I'm put it in a simple, already whatever the qualifications are needed for nurse practitioner midwifery is needed, who was qualified to train the nurse midwifery practitioner, who was registered nurse and registered midwife with high level of competency, who's able to train at the National Regional Midwifery Training Institute, who are identified by the National Midwifery Task Force. So this, what is that? This National Regional and Midwifery Training, how they are being identified. So this is actually the National Midwifery Task Force are identifying the centers which can give the nurse practice midwifery training as well as the nurse practice midwifery nurse educator training at the national level and regional level. This was actually identified by the task force. This is focus, the National Midwifery Task Force of India. This is fundamentally focusing on 6 months training of midwifery educators. In turn, this midwifery educators will be engaged for the 18-month training of nurse practice midwives at the regional as well as the national training institute, national level of training institute. So how they identify these people? Identification of potential candidates for midwifery educators, it's usually done by the state government. They will send these candidates who are eligible to go for a midwifery educator. Who are eligible, how they identify is based on their education and experience, which was shared earlier. Any nurse who undergone a BSc or GNM with 2 years of experience, even the MSc with 2 years of clinical experience, MSc OBG, they can go directly with their education level and experience just 2 years with a high level of competency. We know the Dr. Nalini was telling about the competencies in the antenatal, intranatal, as well as the postnatal and ongoing care. So that high level of competency to be performed at the initial assessment, then they've been selected for the midwifery educator. So the assessments will be done at the national level or state level. Then they will be recommended as a midwifery educator to undergo the 6 months of training. The remuneration level will be in the assistant professor level of salary, whoever is getting, or after becoming a nurse practice midwifery educator, they will be provided a minimum salary of assistant professor salary. Then availability is anytime they have to go be available at the national level or regional level to train this nurse practitioner midwife as well as to mentor them. They should be available and dedicate themselves. This license and registration is mandatory. Whichever state they are going to be doing their mentoring, that they will be in the field, then they need this license or registration according to the state. But if you go for a nurse practice midwifery training into the state, then there the license has to be changed. For them, these people, wherever they are going to mentor, whether they are going to mentor in the national level or regional level or any other state, then that registration is mandatory in the particular council. So who will train this people? NPM nurse educator, who will be training the faculty trainer, that is MSc OBG nursing with minimum 2 years of teaching and clinical experience after PG, who is doing a dual role with 5 years of experience as faculty, minimum of 2 years clinical working experience, as well as medical preceptors are needed. And they will be also training this midwifery educator also, how they train this nurse practice midwifery people. And guest faculty also from the National Health Mission and MOH and family welfare officials. That is who are faculty for nurse practice midwifery will be training, the same people will be training this midwifery educator also in a ratio of 1:10. And this state midwifery educators by the National Midwifery Training Institute will take 6 months of training. And this institute, how they identified this National Midwifery Training Institute, what they should have. So already it is being told by Dr. S.D. Nalini that what are the infrastructure they should have, the same thing, and other facilities for as many latest current published journals should be available in a library. And training institute will be further strengthened through collaboration with international institutions, WHO, UNICEF, all that. And maternal health division, that is Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, has established. Actually, there are 5 nodal centers. In Tamil Nadu also we have one, as the College of Nursing, Madras Medical College has been already established as a nodal center for this training. It has been of course, associated with the national, international institutions also, like JBECO, and they are funding them. And other requirements, in case the College of Nursing want to have this, then super specialty parent hospital for hands-on training is must, skill laboratory and simulation laboratory, and classroom seminar room for conducting this training, and library is must, and computer laboratory with all necessary equipment. And there should be one additional room as office of midwifery staff, and accommodation facilities for this midwifery educators is mandatory. So what this midwifery training institute will do, and already we know that they are going to train, but they can establish a centers for advanced midwifery trainings through this national or international institutions. They are funding for this, like JBECO and other people are funding. And you can get that from National Health Mission or Ministry of Health. They are funding this to establish advanced midwifery trainings, where they fund for simulation models where they can completely get trained. And appropriate faculty for training of midwifery educators is mandatory. And they have to conduct a national level training of midwifery educators, and there should be somebody to monitor, and supportive supervision is necessary for the whole program of this midwifery educator. Then already we know that collaboration is mandatory, and research and evaluation of the midwifery training program to be taken place in that particular institute. The state midwifery educators begin their mentorship after their training. They have to begin their mentorship for the state midwifery training institute to the midwifery nurse practice midwifery who are there for the 18 months. They will do the mentorship at the state level. So what is that state level center should have? Already it is also been explained why, but still 3,000 to 400 deliveries per year, and also to have a 100-bedded MCH wing. Then they can be recognized as a regional institute. Adequate set of equipments and Lakshya standardized labor room guidelines, and required drugs and consumables for family planning program and newborn care, or intrauterine contraceptive device, and vitamin K 0-dose vaccination, hepatitis B, etc. All should be there. Apart from all these, a dedicated and motivated team is mandatory to set up the regional midwifery training institute. What this midwifery educators are going to do in that, they after they get trained 6 months at the national level, they will come to the state level and ensure that trainee midwives are exposed to 40% theory and at least 50% practice in the first year of the program. Set up curriculum will be followed, and all which has been showed by Dr. Nalini, by INC, whatever is said, and all the theory and practice and internship will be monitored by them, and they will be keeping a record of every midwife to ensure participatory learning. And this midwifery educator have to update their knowledge, participate in all professional development activities which is relevant to the midwifery education. And they have to consider the complexities of certain topics. Already we know the guest faculty will be invited from the National Health Mission or the other WHO or whatever the national institutions, and also the senior doctor or nurse midwife from the related field can be called as a guest lecturer. So these are the 4 important learning modules in the nurse midwifery educator. This is not talking about the practice. So here the preparing midwives are concept-based midwifery care and pregnancy, birth and puerperium, and how to lead and manage and supervise these people, and evidence-based midwifery care, how to prepare the midwives for evidence-based midwifery practice. So all these modules, these 4 aspects will be also taught to the midwifery educator. Apart from this, how to mentor and how to motivate this nurse practice midwifery also will be included in the midwifery educator learning modules. And already we know the competencies being very clearly told, but as a midwifery educator, all these competencies, very essential of competencies like legal and ethical principles of midwifery, what is midwifery practice, and what is to be learned and what is to be practiced, and how to evaluate the students, and how to organize the leadership program, how to communicate this leadership and advocacy, and how to make evidence-based activities and how to do a research under the collaboration. All these are mandatory competencies as a midwifery educator. Then additional roles also they have. After imparting training to the, apart from the imparting training to the nurse practice midwifery at the State Midwifery Training Institute, they have to perform the clinical practice also along with them, and they have to supervise the NPMs during their clinical practice, mentor and handhold the NPMs during and after the training. This will be the main role of midwifery educator. And they can always take the SBA module. They have to be familiar, apart from the midwifery educator program, they have to be familiar with the SBA module of which is released by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and how they have given a life-saving drugs and intervention approach. So when to use the drugs independently, that is also been listed, that they have to be familiar. And IMNC model, that's integrated management of neonatal and childhood illness. This module has been developed for basic health workers, but you have to learn this, and we have to be thorough of these three things. Then you can definitely guide and mentor the NPM. So these trained NPMs will be placed at the Lakshya certified facilities. They are mentored by the state midwifery educators for 12 months. That is, as a mentorship, they have to do it after their 6 months of training. And where they will be placed, you can see in Gujarat, already it has been 100 posts of dedicated midwives in community health center and district hospital, wherever there are no obstetricians available. And they have proved that delivery can be conducted by them. And today we have seen a lot more evidences from Telangana state also. So the NPMs, after training, they are posted already, and they have opened this 100 posts. We can get it for this nurse practitioner midwifery with a higher level of salary. That is what is very important. Already we know that there are community health midwives, which we are giving for the basic students also are appointed. But Gujarat government is specially open for who's having the dedicated maternity services with highly qualified will be going for a higher salary. So these are some examples who are practicing already as a becoming an educator as well as an NPM. So this is just a live example of, because we may have a question after I take this course, what I'm going to do, whether I can become an educator or practitioner. It's one nothing. You have to be a nurse practitioner, midwifery practitioner, as well as the educator. So that is what is the example. She's a midwife, Leena. She has in a midwifery model care approach. She's 100% she's doing. Her company is Just Link Health Services, where she is actually doing variety of pregnancy and birthing services to women across Mumbai, Pune, including high-risk situations such as malaria and anemia and pregnancy. She is doing it as 100% till now without any complications. Example for you to start getting licensed and start the midwifery center. And Dr. Vijay Krishnan is another certified professional midwife. She is a co-founder of Director of Healthy Mother Wellness and Care and the leading official LAMACE certified childbirth educator. Many are doing as a LAMACE technique during childbirth as a project, but she is the certified one, and she started a wellness center, and India's first natural birth center based on scientific midwifery model of care is by her. So she is the only Indian to be awarded the certified professional midwife certification by the North American Registry of Midwives. She is actually doing consultation at the state level, national, and also international, where the customers are coming, the mothers are coming for her care, where it is called as Director of Healthy Mother and Wellness Care. There is a website, Health Mother Wellness and Care. She is the founder, and she is doing as a nurse. Then Geeta Saxena madam is a midwife. She is doing an independent midwifery practice in Delhi, associated with one of the hospital setting. She manages all antenatal, intranatal, and postnatal cases. And if any complication, she has a referral center where to send. So you can always set a center independently and have a referral center with you, associating with the team of obstetricians. Definitely you can manage, and she is doing more than a decade now. And Annapurna Clinic is already also running by, she is Dr. Usha Gandhi. She is the principal, Chotram College of Nursing. Every time you can see in a SOMI thing, she is there. She is the SOMI Indore chapter president, and she is doing independent midwifery-led clinic for almost, I think, more than 5 years. And this is what her unit, what she is doing. And she is doing all normal natural birthing center she has. She promotes a normal delivery. Her center was, I think, inaugurated by Dr. Prakash Sharma, who is the SOMI president, and she is continuously doing this. So as Dr. Nalini said, challenges are always there, talking about the salary and how to take a course, and that policymakers have to accept midwife equally as doctors, and educational challenges always there, and research activities also there. So these challenges have to overcome to become a nurse practice midwifery practitioner or as educator. A conclusion is, having all these challenges, a strong voice of powerful midwives working close to government and civil society institutions and major external entities committed to improving maternal and newborn health status, have realized the goal of achieving independent midwifery practice. So the midwives' many strengths and contributions have not been fully utilized to meet today's healthcare need. That is the overall understanding. So once we prove it, I think we can come up. So we have to strongly take up those midwifery practitioner or midwifery educator course and see that midwives can do lot more things to bring up the natural births. So all women are created equal, but only the best become midwives. So today, I know many midwives are there, happy midwives to everywhere, everyone. See, this is what the midwives, mother can have a choice where to have a delivery, at a hospital or home or birth center. But midwives only can be found in all three places. When you are doing independent practice, you should be ready to deliver in any setting with available resources. That has been proved by our midwives. So I appreciate all midwives here, whoever joined here, to take up this independent practice and get licensed and start having a referral center and do it. All the best. And once again, thanks to Registrar Madam and the organizers of this. And one more thing, thanks to all the midwives who are ready to take up this course. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's an awesome presentation, Sushi. Very short. Let us give a virtual clap. Kindly escape from your chat screen so you can see all our claps. Okay,
yes,
with hearty midwives thing, and they will clap. Okay, virtual clap.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think really it was so nice, isn't it, to know the independent midwifery practice. Somewhere we have the RM license, but we never executed the right. I always say in my seat, power somebody will not give you. Power, you need to execute the power. Then power will come to you, right? Where you have a license, we never did it. See what happened in the down the lane. People are telling that we don't have midwifery at all in India. Our midwifery is not that great. But anyhow, there is a great opening now to look forward for us. Something to do, have some independent practice will happen in future, because the scope of practice will clearly says there's an independent practice, things are allowed. But let us see how far it could be in real independent practice. Okay, thank you, Sushila.
Thank you, Dr. Sushila. Thank you, Dr. Sushila, for the fascinating thoughts and detailed presentation about nurse practitioner midwifery educator. I take pleasure in inviting Professor Dr. S. Annie-Grace Kalaimadi, Registrar, Tamil Nadu Nurses Midwives Council, Chennai, to enlighten us on scope of practice of midwife. May I welcome you, madam, to nurture us with your thoughts.
I'm trying to share my screen.
It's coming, madam. Yeah, it's started, not yet visible, but you're sharing. Yeah, came already.
1 minute. Yeah, okay. All of you able to see? All of you able to see that?
Yes, ma'am. Slideshow,
yes, madam. Slideshow only you have to put, ma'am. We are able to see, but slideshow needs to be there.
Oh my God.
Ma'am, just enable editing, ma'am. That's the problem.
Where is that enable editing? I couldn't see here now.
It's not there. It's not in Gilla.
1 minute. I'll go back and come. Maybe. Sorry. Okay. Now can you all see?
To see the screen, ma'am, but slideshow not yet started.
Unable to see,
So we are able to see the slide,
able to
ma'am.
see, but not in slideshow. We are able to see your slides, but not in. Yeah.
Okay, 1 minute, sir. I'll just wait. Some problem happens every time. Now, in the move of market slider. Sharing the content.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It's visible now.
Visible now. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Good morning once again to all of you. I know you are all being ready for the coffee break. We'll finish it off shortly. That's why we started at 10:30. Okay. So kindly bear with us. Okay. So as you all know, the scope of practice, I think during my welcome address, I spoke about it. What is the scope of practice? Little bit I touched here and there, but we need to have start moving.
Ma'am, it is moving, ma'am.
It is moving,
It is moving.
Okay, okay. 1 minute. It's going front or back?
It's moving in front, ma'am. You need to go back.
Go to previous, yeah. Sorry for the delay.
Okay, coming.
Yeah, with this I would like to start, okay? Yeah. See, I want to give, before I go to the scope of practice, my dear fraternity, I want you all understand, I know majority of nurse educators are here, principals and the faculty are here. See, there was a separate midwifery training school was available in our country till 1950s, and separate RM registers, that is registered midwife registers, were maintained for midwives. They have undergone exclusive training for 18 months till 1950. That means they have come straight away, they will be a midwife. They have never undergone a nursing training. I want you to understand that. Then in 1950, INC introduced 3 years GNM course, followed by a 9 months of a midwifery. Then slowly what happens? The separate midwifery schools, because of the GNM incorporated the 9 months midwifery, the midwifery schools gradually began to close down. Later, it was reduced to 6 months by Indian Nursing Council in all our syllabuses. There, you and me all have taken up. So all these resulted in dilution of role of midwives in India. And also one of the things I feel why we have not taken that much seriously, because I was there in the last week executive meeting of the TNI from all over the country. You know, I happened to talk with the secretary of the Kerala TNA branch. She was telling, like, nobody wants to be called as midwife. They feel it is cheap. They think it is not recognized. So they don't want that nomenclature at all, it seems. They never wanted. Even the nurse who's conducting the delivery, there was a proposal a while ago that they could be appointed as a midwife, but they never wanted to be called as a midwife. I think somewhere by looking at, because in Tamil Nadu எடுத்துக்கிட்டீங்கன்னா தாதியர்னு சொல்லுவோம் இல்ல, தாதி, தாய்ஸ், மருத்துவச்சி, இவங்கெல்லாம் இந்த கேட்டகரி எல்லாம் they will come under this midwives. That is why maybe the reason even in our state it slowly waned off. You know, it was not really given that importance when it's really to be given importance. Now we are all talking about this, and I want to show you the rule, that is TNMC, Tamil Nadu Nurse and Midwives Act, under section 11(2)(b), rule 32(b), A and B. You read this. Subject to the provisions of these rules, a midwife shall be entitled to have her name entered in section 1 or 2. 1 means who studied in Tamil Nadu. Section 2 means who studied outside Tamil Nadu of the register. If she has completed, see here, 18 months training in midwifery or 6 months training in the case of a trained nurse at an institution authorized in that behalf under the rule 37, that is the inspection power of the council, and passed the qualifying examination conducted by the Madras Government Board of Examiners for Midwife, that is the present A&M board, or if she possesses certificate of qualification in midwifery recognized by the Indian Nursing Council as a registrable qualification and is registered by the Nurses and Midwives Council of the state in which the qualification is granted. That means you don't think immediately, don't jump to the Indian Nursing Council. They are supposed to recognize the university and boards. The people who are studied from the recognized universities and boards of the Indian Nursing Council are eligible to be registered here in the state council. So such a clear statement was there in 1926 where we have lost it. So these are all something I thought I want you all should know. Now let us come to the so that is the old era. Now it is the present era from 2019, as Dr. Evita said, and Dr. Sushila and Dr. Nalini. I'm not going to talk much about it. Who is the midwife? I think with my previous slide, if you see, you would have understood who is the midwife. Midwife supposed to be completed at 18 months training or 6 months training is considered as the midwife. Here they have added something, that is they successfully completed midwifery education and duly recognized in the country where it is located based on the ICM competencies. This is the additional one they are adding into. ICM, when it was established, it is later part, not just like a International Council of Nurses. So these are all recently, after the ICM, only ICM was established. Okay, so after these things, it is all coming, but whereas in Tamil Nadu, in the Act, it is being provided very, very long back. Now we are 96 years old. In 1926, we are going to celebrate the 100 years. Then it has to be legally licensed to practice. So it need to be registered and the license to be given. So such a person only can be called as a midwife. My question here, we have, Madam said we are supposed to have a great knowledge. I think Margaret Miles is the book, even in the Royal Midwives of England, okay? The Miles book is written by whom? It is from the British people. That is why that Miles, the midwife Miles, it is not written by a doctor, okay? That book only we all have studied 6 months. We have in-depth knowledge about midwives. Maybe the present generation, after dilution of number of institutions, quantifying being increased, they may not have conducted a delivery in that manner. But I am confident with my fraternity in my Tamil Nadu. I'm sure with my BScs and diplomas and my masters, everyone will be really knowledgeable. We need to have somewhat additional training in the way ICM says, like counseling. Maybe we are not good at counseling. Maybe we are not good at prescribing medications when we assess it. So such things we need to develop also. This is what my concern when I see this. Why? Okay. So my view in this is the same, and I want to tell you that. Okay. Then what is then NPM means? Indian context. Sushila has already told you who's being called as a midwife. Then who is the nurse practitioner midwife? Again, was completed the 18 months of a course, which is designed by the Indian Nursing Council, and the license is given by the as an additional qualification, not as a main qualification. So we need to develop a NPM license if at all so that person is called as a nurse practitioner midwife. So you have a RNRM with your qualification and with the additional 18 months of a training. You come back and register here as an additional qualification. Then you are eligible to practice the nurse practitioner midwife, whatever been prescribed in your curriculum and whatever been given in the scope of practice of midwife in Indian context. So next, we will see what is the scope of practice for midwifery educator and NPM. Okay, we need to see both the sectors here. It's all both are the same. I think Dr. Nalini explained very well who is the midwifery educator, and Dr. Sushila explained who is the nurse practitioner midwife. So there are two different categories. You people have to understand both are 18 months course where midwifery educator undergoes a 6 months intense training and 1 year of a mentorship program for the NPMs. Whereas NPMs, they go 1 year of a training program and 6 months of an internship program. This is the difference. But many of us doesn't know because we have not implemented in Tamil Nadu yet. Of course, government of Tamil Nadu has sent 6 nurses from Tamil Nadu to Fernandez Hospital, and they are beautifully trained, and we are yet to roll out the NPM program so that we will have one set of midwifery educator, 6 people, and after after 1 year of NPM rolling, and after the another 6 months to the NPM, we will have 30 NPMs in our state. So what are all the scope here? If you see the pre-pregnancy care, I have marked it everything in a green color. You can see family planning counseling. I think usually we do this, right? When we were student itself, we make all flip charts and panels and so on, you know. We used to just go and show what are all the different devices, how to counsel, but we might have given to the group of people in the government hospital. Where here, an independent midwife has to establish a relationship care. So she need to learn the good counseling skills. So that one of the thing is family planning counseling, pre-conception care. Some couple may come with the query of they were not conceived, so they have a lot of doubts. So you need to know how to give the counseling to them, how to give the care to them, and also any syndromic management. It may be due to sexually transmitted infection or something screening you have to do. So you need to have the syndromic management approach. Then comes antenatal care. So that is the previous one is the pre-conception. Now antenatal care. So antenatal care, we need to assess the health status, detect and confirm the pregnancy, and monitor the progress of the pregnancy, assess the fetal and maternal well-being, and you have to promote and support the healthy behavior for a women and well-being through the ANC exercises. I think ANC exercise also we do teach. Even today, I think our nursing students to teach, and MSc students have taken as a research study for ANC exercises. I think we are into it in the stream, and detect, manage, and refer women with a complicated pregnancy, and provide counseling to the women and to their family. Not only to the women and to the family. Here, detect, manage, and refer women with complicated pregnancy. It happens. There is I hope you would have seen when Dr. Evita Madam is presented, there is an initial desk. They assessed any normal labor that goes to a MLCU, midwife-led unit, led care unit, and OLCU, obstetrician-led care unit. Okay. So the two different things it has been done. It is mainly done at the moment to reduce the overload at the tertiary hospital. Then during the labor, intrapartum. So we have to confirm the onset of labor, provide support, respectful maternity care. If you find out any complication, immediately refer them, and if you find any postpartum complications also, you refer them and call the doctor for immediate action, what to be done, and assist physiologic birthing. This is what very important, normal physiologic birthing process. I think those midwives who gave the testimonies after the training at Fernandez, it is awesome. That is what even our older generation have done, I think. We have done, because we are all moved to educational sector, we have not done, but I don't know, presently are they doing. So we need to really help them, be with them, give a companion to them and do a birthing process. But you will always ask me a question, ma'am, is it possible to have in a setup of a tertiary hospital at Gosha, maybe in an hour, maybe 10, 20 deliveries are happening. There will be medical students, there will be nursing students and PG students, everybody, they have a target, and how come they are, and we have a reduced number of shortage of midwife nurses. I mean, even if you train them, we are going to have shortage. How are we going to face? So these are the challenges, real challenges, whether we can do this one-to-one basis care. But I'm surprised to see when Telangana government could provide such thing. I think Tamil Nadu, definitely we can do this. Maybe we need to bring these models to our government, to our people, to put up, one video show or a PowerPoint presentation. I think we can make it up. Then provide immediate essential newborn care, perform neonatal resuscitation. For me, this one usually we do Apgar scoring and we do the initial care or thing. I think that is what they are not doing. Even any problem, you can do a resuscitation that we don't teach to our student. Maybe that is a new thing. Identify newborn complication and perform repair episiotomy and repair of perineal, vaginal and vulval laceration. I think usually we do that, but present generation, because they are not getting adequate number of deliveries, they are not able to get it. Ongoing care, that is postpartum care, health education, taking the calcium tablet, breastfeeding, any complication, maternal and infant bonding, postpartum complication, family planning services, and you give a guidance and counseling. Is there any danger signs happen? So I think these are all things in community health also we teach to the students. Not only in midwifery, we have a part is called community midwifery in our syllabi. So we are teaching, I think that is the same thing here have been spoken. That is why I always say to you, if you see in our website, what is your scope of practice? I would have, if you would have referred our website, in the front I have put it, your logbook for BSc nursing, your logbook for MSc nursing, your logbook for diploma. That is your scope of practice. So here, what is our scope of practices? Our case book for midwifery is our scope of practice. So here I'm just going to say what are all the things we can order and interpret the diagnostic procedure. Earlier, we are not supposed to do it when a doctor only have to write all these things. This is the additional thing. I look this as well as a limited prescription pharmacology, in many of the states in USA, they call it as a counties. In the counties, they usually have different state, within the USA. There are about 50 states in USA. You can see the 50 stars, 50 states in USA, and each state differs in prescription authority. Some state has given an extended prescription authority. Some state have given a limited prescription authority. But when we compare UK, that is very, very limited prescription authority is given. They have followed the UK model here. So here, a midwife, that is midwife NMP, nurse midwifery practitioner, can do this. What all? She can do the laboratory, she can order for this, order and interpret the results for a pregnancy test, hemoglobin, CBC, blood group, RH typing, multi-reagent urine dipstick. Then you can do for torch panel, HIVs, other even all the tests you can do it, and then urine microscopy. You can see all here. I think you all know this: albumin, thyroid, TSH, AFP. All these things you are authorized to do it according to the Government of India scope of practice. You would have seen my first slide. I put it up. I copied and put it up. It has been developed by Government of India, so you can definitely do it. Whatever it is, any country, they can give a common thing, but each state, because to monitor the training and practice is vested with the State Nursing Council. So we can take as like that, or we can derive from that and develop our own practices to Tamil Nadu. That is what we are trying to do it, and we are trying to approach the government to even to get you a separate registration certificate as a NMP, nurse midwifery practitioner. So what are the medication? I told you limited prescription. What are the medication you can give? Folic acid, iron folic acid tablets, calcium, vitamin D3. These are all the things we simply give like a over the counter drug. But now a midwife with a limited prescription authority, she can give boldly. No human rights agents will come and catch you up. We can say, hey, my scope of practice says that I can give you all this. See, then one more thing, even preterm labor, they say we can give antenatal steroids. That is amazing for me. I really liked it. Even, I still remember our Dr. Jayseelan sir. I hope you all knew her very well. You will see, standard drug prescription கூட ஒரு நர்ஸ்க்கு இல்ல என்ன நாமெல்லாம் இன்னும் ஃபைட் பண்ணாம இருக்கிறோம் அப்படி சொல்லுவார். When I saw this, I remembered that only. So see here, what are all the drugs they have given? Normal saline you can give, ringer latex you can give, paracetamol also we need a prescription if you are a nurse to give it in the hospital. And see here for RTA, STA, syphilis, they have given clear cut. What are all the conditions? What is the drug you should give? Even they have gone up to chlortriamoxazole, the fourth generation antibiotic. They have come for it, and tetracycline. These are all old generation, tetracycline, doxycycline, and all those. So you can see all this medication, even management of PPH, oxytocin you can give as if you become a NPM. That is amazing for me. And hypertensive patient, loading dose magnesium sulfate. I hope you will collect your memory when we have a hypertension patient. During pregnancy, we used to wait for the doctor to come and write for the magnesium sulfate loading dose. So now if you could give, when you're identifying that state itself, it is a great boon for all of us. Then newborn, I think I feel we all give this, invariably when a baby born, we give vitamin K1, whether doctors write or not, it is the routine. But now you yourself can give without even doctor's prescription, you can give vitamin K1 and ART prophylaxis for newborn mothers. And if there is any umbilical cord infection or severe skin disease, ampicillin, Genta, and all that, even oxygen you can give. You find the babies having with nasal flaring, or you feel intercostal retractions, you can give oxygen. And if you see gonococci infection, you can give caniamycin or citrizone. All this you can prescribe yourself. So this is what one more thing I really loved it, vaccination. Birth dose BCG 0. If you go to Western countries, the vaccination is only given by the nurse, not by a doctor. Okay, it is you are supposed to go to a nurse and have this vaccine. Here they have given that privilege. I think this may be now within the institutional policy. My vision to look upon this, I am envisaging that in another 1 decade or 2 decades, a nurse should have a nurse and a midwife should have such a privilege that it should be given by a nurse only, whether it is independent practice or it would be a facility practice where you yourself starting a nursing home and you appointed doctors as a consultant at your firm. Because the amount of doctors we have in our state, it's really too much, because we have a lot of foreign medical graduates and number of medical colleges have so become high. And so you need to remember that. And here I want to tell you one thing before I go on to the procedural competencies. Last week, one girl who has done the Siddha medicine came to me. She must be hardly 24 years, 25 years old girl from Kanyakumari. And she said, ma'am, I would like to discuss with you about the birthing village. I said, what way you are connected? No, whether I can appoint your midwives, that is our BSc nurses or diploma. She has got some senior people in her hand, it seems. So whether they are allowed to conduct the delivery, because I am establishing a birthing village in whatever my parents have given me property, where I'm going to arrange it. I'm going to appoint midwives, and I want to send them to the Fernandez training center, where they give additional training. There is no certificate, I think they themselves give, I think. But with this RN, whether I can practice. I boldly said, yes, she can practice. I gave the copy of our RM, what all she can do. And she says, I'll be very happy to do this, ma'am. And I'm going to start the birthing village. Why we have not got that confidence? This is what I always wonder, why we have not. So I think Sushila, Dr. Sushila and Dr. Viji, Dr. Jaisa, this OBG people, I've spoken many at a time with you, I think, Nandi, everybody, why not you think, why not you put a board at least, okay, at least antenatal consultation or antenatal health education, something like that, so that it is now it is a scope of practice has come, we need to think. I think let us come to that is a small anecdote I want to give there. And here when we come to procedural competencies, you need to look at this to tell me whether, see, they have clearly given NPM can do independently, NPM can do in a collaboration, that is interdependent practice, and NPM should refer. So this is, she has to refer here, whatever the condition. I think it is in the website, kindly download, and I don't want to take your time and talking about this. It is most of the thing you educators knew very well, what, see, like health assessment, urine pregnancy. These are all we are all doing, I feel. Prepare, kick chart. This is all we do naturally, we do everything. So only thing you need to be thorough, what all NPM can do independently, what all to be done interdependently, what cases to be referred. I've just done a few things only in that. It's all given here. Okay, what all you can do. I think, see, administration of a TT, preparation for recording of a CTG, non-stress test, all this we are doing without even telling. So under these headings, if you go in that scope of practice, what all you can do independently, what all you can do interdependently, what are all the cases you need to refer. They are given so clearly: intranatal care, postnatal care, newborn care, care of a baby with complication, high-risk newborn, and family planning. And another thing, maternal and newborn condition that an NPM can perform independently in collaboration or reference. So there is 3 annexures are there. Kindly refer those for your reference. Okay, and they have given additionally as annexure 4 SOPs for NPM responsibility in initial management of common complications of pregnancy, childbirth, and postnatal and newborn. This is the national guidelines based on the SBA, that is Dakshita guide. I think some of them have undergone SBA skill training also in the government. So in these 11 topics, they have made a SOPs. What to be done first, what to be done second, when to refer, all those is given clearly. You can see here: bleeding in early pregnancy, incomplete abortion, bleeding in late pregnancy, hypertensive disorders, convulsions and in eclampsia, breech delivery, prolonged labor, vaginal or perineal tear, prevention and management of PPH, puerperal sepsis, initial care of a small low birth weight newborn. So here that's about our scope of practice from Government of India giving. But I would like to again kindle your thoughts. This is, I hope the people who graduated probably before 2000 or something like that would have received along with your midwifery registration this paper. Okay, can you all able to see? This is the paper where you can see this is Office General Instruction to registered candidates. Bylaws for regulating and supervising the practice of their profession by a registered nurses, midwives, auxiliary nurse midwives, health visitors. Section 12(1)(b) of the Tamil Nadu Nurse and Midwives Act 1926, GOMS 3467, dated 23rd December 1954. You can see here, they talk only about the midwife. They never talked about the nurse or A&M or health visitor. That is what we were worried, and we have framed it for each category and submitted to the government. But they recently called me for a meeting. They are asking me, is there any other state have developed like this? And when I say in India, nobody has developed, they are not ready to implement this. But they should know that scope of practice is vested with this state council. And I don't know, I just keep my fingers crossed and praying they will really understand one day. They will peruse those papers we have submitted, made by the experts from different category of people: lawyer, sociologists, humanists, doctors, nurses, researchers. We all made that paper, but still it is not happening. But I have a faith it will come one day, definitely. You can say here, when engaged to attend a delivery, midwife must, as soon as possible, interview a patient and take her history. If the confinement is to take place at home, she should visit the home and assist the mother to take the necessary preparation. Ensure the attendance of the patient at an antenatal clinic regularly. Give necessary advice regarding food, work, rest, and exercise. What not is not there. We have spoken so much on NPM. Look at here. And the next point I would like to highlight is the midwife shall not take charge of any abnormal delivery or of a delivery in the case of a woman whose pregnancy has been complicated by disease. A midwife must call in a registered medical practitioner in all cases of illness of the patient or child, or in the case of any abnormality becoming apparent in the patient or child during pregnancy, labor, or lying in period. Okay. A midwife must not employ any uncertified person as a substitute. What else you need? Right? That has been given already. Then come to next page. Every registered midwife. You might see here why I have blocked it. That is DAs. Those days DAs were right there, right? Every midwife. Okay, sorry. Other than appointed in the government and local body, it's hiding. Other than admitted in the government and local body, practicing a profession privately. That means a midwife is allowed to practice her profession privately by in a certain area shall, as soon as she has set up in her practice, inform the supervising authority as per bylaw 5 of the following particulars: her name, her registration number with this council as RM, and address and place of practice. She shall also maintain a register in the form appended to these bylaws. Any registered nurse midwife who found by the council to be guilty or breach above the bylaw shall be deemed to be guilty of an offence within the meaning of Rule 39 of the rule made under 11 of the Act. So beautifully it is given. So how to set up her practice. And next slide, if you see, you will wonder how to, I have not taken full thing. So this is how she has to maintain. What are all the things she has to keep? What uniform she should wear? How neatly should keep? All that has been prescribed there. So how to maintain the register? You see here, date of labor, number of tickets, number of register, name, age, race, caste, number of pregnancy, presentation, position of the fetal heart, stage of labor, and then date of discharge, child born, stillborn, macerated, sex, male or female, weight of the child at birth, on discharge, condition of the child, mother, perineum, I think, placenta, and then a cord around the neck or length of the cord. And I want to write anything additional, you can write the remarks, cause of death of the child or anything to be noted. And here, height of the uterus, progress of patient through the preparium, drugs given together with the reasons therefore, temperature, pulse and respiration, condition of the child and its progress, and date when cord drops, date and time of visit. So beautifully it is given. Any abnormality for which treatment has sought for, the register as well as the midwife boxes shall be liable to be produced when asked by the supervising authority mentioned in bylaw. The bylaw 5 supervising authority means the district medical officer. Okay, wherever she sets up the training, she has supposed to inform the district medical officer. So that is how beautifully it is given in our 1926 Act and bylaw. So now final thoughts to take home with this care. What is the use of present RM license? Is it not giving the empowerment to practice midwifery? So how to differentiate? Don't we need one more license category as nurse practitioner in midwifery or clinical nurse practitioner, specialist in midwifery? With that thought, I leave it to you and thank you so much once again. Think it over and ponder and come with a good solution. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for imparting us the knowledge on the scope of practice and explaining us in detail about the legal practices, what we can do, and explaining us from our old history. Today only I was aware of that 1950s we had a midwifery school in this one, ma'am. Created an eye-opener for many of us. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Welcome.
So we will move on to the session on knowledge and practice about the...
Thank you. Virtual claps. Thank you.
Virtual claps, madam. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for all virtual claps. Returning back your virtual claps. Thank you. I hope it was useful. A lot of நான் நிறைய நியூவா சொன்ன மாதிரி இருந்தது எனக்கு. உங்களுக்கு நிறைய எவ்வளவு பேருக்கு இந்த கான்டென்ட் தெரியும்னு எனக்கு தெரியல. So I think you need to spread this information to everywhere because the people doesn't know the history. அதான் சொல்லுவாங்க, ஹிஸ்டரியை மறந்துட்டோம்னா we forget our legacy. Okay, we have forgotten our history. That is what our problem. See, in knowledge we all have so much of knowledge, but what is the use? That's the problem. Okay, go ahead. Next, I'm
Thank you,
waiting
ma'am.
for the presentation. Okay. Some of them put up the chat box. Thank you.
So at the outset, again, I thank our nursing council and the participants who have really participated in the survey which has been conducted by our TNMC. For your enthusiastic participation, around 2,500 people, we got the response. Thank you, ma'am, for the opportunity to present this study, Knowledge on Advanced Nurse Midwifery Programs. The Government of India has launched the Midwifery Initiative to improve the...
What happened? You were correct one. Jayasudha, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. To improve the quality of service provision for strengthening the reproductive, maternal and neonatal health. This initiative will create a new cadre of nurse practitioners in midwifery who are skilled in accordance with the International Confederation of Midwives, competencies, knowledgeable and competent in providing skilled, compassionate, respectful, woman-centered care. So the title of our study was Knowledge and Advanced Nurse Midwifery Programs in India. A survey was taken to assess the level of knowledge on this advanced nurse midwifery programs in India among our nursing personnel. The survey was conducted among all the nursing personnel such as nurse administrators, educators, nursing faculty, and nurse midwives. 2,447 samples were selected using non-probability convenient sampling technique. The data were collected using questionnaire through Google form. The link was generated and it was forwarded to the nursing personnel. The collected data were analyzed using descriptive statistics. The report and analysis, the gender-wise, as we knew that our nursing profession is mostly female generated one. So there were 95.7% were the female who have responded in our study. And current position, there were 77% were the nurse educators of the faculty who has participated in the survey. And if you see the education qualification, 51.2% were the masters in nursing and 8.6% were doctoral in nursing, 31.7% were bachelors in nursing, 4.2% were diploma in nursing, and 4.4% were the post-basic BSc nursing. At the place of work by the education, and 96.6% were the private and 3.4% were the government faculty. And bylaws of this currently available in the practice for midwifery in the state of Tamil Nadu. Everybody, almost 81% answered yes, there are bylaws. So they have been aware of this bylaws. And independently, whether they can conduct deliveries with the license of RN and RM, and 65% said yes. Still, we have lacking of 35%. I'm sure, ma'am, after your session, now next when we take the posters, 100% will say yes. Here, the Tamil Nadu Nurses and Midwives Council Act coming to force. Only 26.1% only said the right answer. It has been came in 1928. And the knowledge about this midwifery program, 87.
There's a 1 minute. I want to tell the answer there. See, Act was passed on in 1926, but it came to execution only in 1928. You see the question when it came into force. People have misled with that question. That's all. Otherwise, I think I'm sure they all know that answer. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And about the knowledge, 87.6% said yes, and only 12.4% said no. And scope of practice about the nurse practitioner in midwifery, almost 90% said yes. And governing body, which really rules out this practice for the nurse practitioner midwifery, is our State Nursing Council. Again, only 20.2% said it is from our.
I was really upset with that answer. Our nurses don't know who is the governing body for scope of practice. Is it Indian Nursing Council? Indian Nursing Council is only to maintain a uniform standard of nursing curriculum throughout the country. That is their preamble. Okay, all of you, I want to take a class today, right? State Nursing Council is the registration authority where we monitor the training and practice of a nurse, where we register and we give you a license to practice. So when we are giving a license to practice, who has to govern you? The State Nursing Council, right? Very simple, right? So next time post this, all of you do well. Okay.
Thank you. The nurse practitioner in midwifery curriculum designed in line with the competencies for midwives proposed by International Confederation of Midwives. 42% have said yes. And the course modules offered under nurse practitioner midwifery curriculum except advanced midwifery practice. There were 20.8% have said the answer rightly. And for the not eligible to become a faculty of nurse practitioner in midwifery program is MS nursing with medical surgical, almost 55.3% said only the person who are with med-surg specialty cannot become a faculty for the nurse practitioner in midwifery program.
But I'm sorry to say that it is not so. If BSc with 2 years also can come join it. So if you are BSc, you are ready to come, we don't have any problem.
Ma'am, to be faculty again, they have
faculty. Oh, it's faculty. Okay.
Some faculty for
faculty. Pediatric and community and OBG. Yeah.
Category of nurse practitioner in midwifery program. Yes, it has been named as post-basic diploma program in nursing. 19.7% have responded rightly. Nurse practice, 7% said it is an 18 months program. So even though this program has been initiated in our country, still we as a nursing people were not much aware of this program, ma'am.
Yeah, that is why today I think they should be thorough today. Okay, nurse educator means 6 months training, 1 year mentorship, and NPM means 1 year training, 6 months intensive. That's all.
So number of theory and practical exam proposed under the scheme of examination for the nurse practitioner and midwifery program. 20 people have answered it is 2 theory and 1 practical. The percentage of attendance in theory and practical before appearing for examination in the NMP program is 31% said it is 90%. As we knew for our UG program everywhere, we need the 90% of the attendance for the PG program. The body recognized to register NPM as an additional qualification is only 30%. It's a state nursing council.
So sad. I'm really very upset. I always say my state know much about legalities. I'm very surprised to see the answer. Only 38% of minors knew in this squad group. They knew only state council can register. Indian Nursing Council, 48 point. Where are you getting these ideas, my dear fraternity? So your state council is the authority to give license. Okay, don't forget that. Hammer it in your mind, please. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. The minimum pass percentage of marks in both the internal and external put together in theory and practical exam of nurse practitioner midwifery program should be 70%. Only 20% have answered correctly. The vaginal examination during labor, including clinical pelvimetry procedure competency, is categorized in NMP logbook. Performs independently because, as madam said, in the scope of practice, which are the procedures we can perform independently and intercollaborative and dependent. So this perform can be independently. 47.8% have said yes. And duration of training given by the national and regional midwifery training institutes for midwifery educators is answer is the 6 months. 36.7% have said rightly. And the key requirements of the National Regional Midwifery Training Institute include the following, except the computer laboratory with all necessary equipments, almost 52.7% have said. And the trainer-trainee ratio in midwifery educators program is 1:10. 32.4% have said rightly. It is of 1:10 ratio. The NPM program curriculum would be revised by Indian Nursing Council. Yes. 38.4% have said rightly. The scope of practice is legally defined by State Nurse Practice Act, that is 57.4% have said rightly. The principle of promoting independence of choice, self-determination, and freedom of action, that is autonomy, which has been described correctly by 64.7% of our study participants. A nurse who works outside the scope of practice may be subjected to suspension of the license. Only 43.5% have said rightly, ma'am, because I think this question was not much understood by the research participants, yeah, the thing which they have given it. And the medications can be prescribed by the NPM independently is only 6% they said antihypertensive.
Oh, that said oxytocin, everything. Now.
An elderly preemie delivered a healthy newborn weighing 4 kg. She is bleeding profusely immediately after delivery. On examination, the nursing action should not be done by her independently. What is the action to not to be done? Repair the vaginal tear in layers. 64.2% have said. The nurse practitioner midwife can perform the following function independently except performing the medical termination of pregnancy. 71% have rightly answered. The following situation should the nurse practitioner midwife plan to manage collaboratively is the pharmacological 19.4% said by the nurse practitioner midwife, almost 75.6% said the rightly 75 gram of oral glucose tolerance test to be performed. The title provided to practice and a completion of NMP or NMP educator, midwife educator program is, yes, as it is nurse practitioner midwife or nurse practitioner midwife educator. 64.3% have said rightly. And to conclude that, the survey revealed that mean score of knowledge and advanced nurse practitioner midwifery program here is 11.8 average mean score, with the 40% had the knowledge. Hence, as a healthcare professionals, we must have a knowledge on the scope of practice at all the times to ensure the safe practice lawfully and effectively. Thank you. Once again, I thank all our research participants for your participation in our survey. Thank you all so much.
Maybe you can invite them to be post-test also on this, because their knowledge must be increased, definitely should have increased. Jayasudha.
Yes, ma'am. So we will be inviting, sending the email to all the participants with the YouTube also, what has been taken session today, the webinar, what we had, and the post-test questionnaire. Thank you all.
Thank you so much once again on behalf of Nursing Council. Jayasudha, it's a wonderful presentation and analytical way of presentation with your team. Thank you so much, everybody. Once again, wishing you all those students. I can see a lot of students with Punita K. Hi, everybody. You know me, right? Terima, madam yes, okay, I'm happy that I could, the principals made the students to witness this at the early stage of their life in the journey of the nursing. Thank you so much once again, everybody, for your great cooperation. But I was a little disappointed. Participants always remained below 200, where 500 registrations were done, but I could see groups were sitting. So please ensure in future sessions you have more cooperation. And I take this forum to invite you all for the International Nurses Day celebration on 9th May at T.N. Rajaratnam Kalayarangam. Dr. Mrs. Tamarachi Tangapandian, Member of Parliament, Lok Sabha, Government of India, is going to be the chief guest for the function. But we have only 360-seater auditorium, so we have limited near the city. We have invited from each college 2 faculty and 2 students. And reminding people, don't worry, immediately students, we have arranged a virtual relay. So throughout the world can watch this program. So like how you made it today, make this program witnessed by the students. This will be really a encouraging one for them to become a best nurse in future, to get such awards in their career. So I request all the principals over here today participated. Kindly arrange this virtual relay to your students as you arranged today, so that every student in Tamil Nadu is benefited. I don't mind even any part of the world uses this and enjoy our program on that day, because it's mainly going to be the awarding ceremony, and we will be flashing up with the best nurse personnel and lifetime achievement awardees description, their citation on what basis they are getting it, and also some special category awards like bravery awards, the person who saved many children during the fire accident, a male nurse, and 2 nurses who saved the life of a public when they were fainted at the bus stop. They gave a CPR and they saved like that, and other academic side achievements and accreditation agency thing. So like that, we are giving different type of awards. Kindly witness and motivated, and let us all stay together, and let us hope to see our independent practice of a midwife soon. Thank you so much once again, and special thanks to my team of Dr. Jaisudha, Dr. Nalini, Dr. Sushila, and my TNMC team, Punita, Tyagiraj, and all of them. And I know the background, your office staff would have also worked, your faculty also would have worked. Thank you, everyone, on behalf of Tamil Nadu Nurses and Midwives Council. Thank you.
1 minute, ma'am.
Yes.
So, it is an appreciation for every moment in our life. So it is a feeling of abundance. I take this pleasure to thank the transformational leader arranging this celebration of International Midwives Day, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. I extend our thanks to the chief guest of the day, Dr. Evita, ma'am, presented very well about our midwifery practitioner in India. And I really thank Dr. Nalini and Dr. Sushila for their excellent presentation on NPM and NPM midwifery educator and on scope of practice by our registrar, ma'am. I really thank our TNMC team, ma'am, Punita ma'am, and Tyagarajan for their help and for arranging all this program in our day today. And I thank the most participants who enthusiastically participated, the nurse educators, nurse midwives, and the student nurses for your participation in this International Midwives Day celebration. Thank you all. மனநோயோ உடல் நோயோ உதிரம் கொட்டி உணர்வுகள் மறந்து மனித உயிர் காக்கும் மகத்தான சேவையை மனதார செயல்படுத்தும் மகப்பேறு செவிலியர்களே, நொடிப்பொழுதும் அயராத நோய் நீக்கும் பணியதையை நேயமுடன் செயல்படுத்தும் நேசமிக்க உறவுகளே, இந்நாள் போல் எந்நாளும் உங்கள் பணி தொடர மனதார வாழ்த்திப்போம். Nandri Vanakkam. Once again, happy International Midwives Day. Thank
Once
you.
again, applause, round of applause to everyone. Bye bye.
And just an addition, the feedback has been posted in the chat box. Please do fill up the feedback forms, please.
Okay, right. Thank you. That's lovely. So can I just close it now, or you are going? I'll just leave you. So it need to be open now, right?
For the
Yes.
feedback form.
For feedback.
Okay, right.
Okay, we
you,
share it
madam.
in the
Thank
group
you so
also,
much.
ma'am. They can give the feedback. Nalini ma'am will share in the group.
Yeah, I'll post it. I'll post it in the groups also.
Yeah.
Okay, Nalini.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Nalini and Dr. Jaisudha, especially
so
from
much.
my side, because I just joined this
Thank you, ma'am.
morning
Thank
because
you.
I was not there. Thank you so much to both of you, taking all efforts. Thank you.